welcome to the FPLUSA Press Play Podcast. I'm Bucks. I am joined not by one of our regular co-hosts. This is the festive fixture part of the calendar. So we've gotten extra festive. We've gone deep into the hashtag FPLUSA gift goodie bag from Santa, and we've pulled out one of the best managers we have stateside. I'm joined by second guest appearance, right? I think so. Second time appearance. Welcome to the show, Avi, better known on social media as FPL_Conte. Welcome. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Bucks. Nice to see you after a long time.
I know, it's good to have you on this season. We've been plotting best time to get you, and we figured, that you're all chipped out and you're still comfortably in the top 2,000 overall, that maybe the stars will align here. So great to get a fellow Chelsea fan and, an actual elite FPL manager back on the airwaves this season. Good to have you.
Thanks for the kind words. Happy to be here.
All right. So I know we know each other, from being involved in the FPLUSA socials and also our group chats. But I want to make sure that the wider listening audience gets to know a little bit about who you are, Avi. So let's just get into it. We already see what team you support. That is the world champion Chelsea FC.
Absolutely.
But tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of your experience coming to FPL, maybe your best overall finish up till now. I'll let you run with it.
Sure. Yeah. As Buck said, this is my second time on this podcast. Avi. I live in Michigan in the States. I've been playing FPL forever. I lost my old account, but I think I've been playing FPL for like 13, 14 years now. So yeah, I cannot even remember the last time I was watching an PL game without FPL in the back of my head. So yeah, it has been a very, very long time. I joined FPL Twitter during COVID times, like most of us did a few years ago. Then I came to know a bunch of the guys in FPL USA. We used to chat. I didn't know about a whole lot of the data analytics and like general conversation around FPL until that, right? Like I was just playing on my own, maybe talking to the friends a little bit here and there. But since we joined Twitter, now X, it has been a lot more, I would say, conversational, right? A lot more knowledge sharing with each other. So yeah, it's not just a game. I think it's a nice platform for all of us to discuss FPL and Premier League in general, like football in general sometimes too. So yeah, I think I have really enjoyed the experience on this with this community over the last few years. Sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming. So I tend to walk away for like days, or even I think at some point I took off from Twitter for like a couple of months. But in general, I do really like the experience talking to my fellow FPL managers. But yeah, I think my best finish was a couple of years ago when I finished, I think, I don't exactly, somewhere in the 4Ks or 5Ks, in that range, I think. That was, I think, most of the season I was hanging at around like 30K, 20K, and the last 2 game weeks I made some lucky calls and I went up to like finished on at like around 3 or 4K. But yeah, this season has gone very lucky as well, so far as Bucks mentioned. Yeah, but I guess we'll talk about it more as well. But yeah, that's all about
Come on, you can't say lucky twice when you're repeating and even improving upon an already top 10K finish. Listen, I know you from some of our offline chats, and I know you are very humble, but you are, if not, you are very plugged into the Premier League. So I just want to ask, because this is a debate we have among the hosts, if push comes to shove, FPL or IRL Premier League team, what club are you supporting more, your personal squad or Chelsea FC?
Always Chelsea first.
Yeah, smart man. That's why we love each other, Avi. Come on, that's we're alike here. We won't slag the other co-hosts that might feel differently. Brian, excuse me. All right, on to the next one. I do want to just ask, if you have a favorite, holiday tradition, you have a favorite treat that you eat around this time of the year. It doesn't have to necessarily be kind of American food, just kind of whatever is something you look forward to around these festive fixtures.
Yeah, I mean, nothing specific treat-wise or food-wise. Of course, I don't necessarily uh, celebrate Christmas in general religiously, but I mean, we just me and my wife, we just want to stick around at the house if we are not vacationing somewhere. Just cook a lot of food, holiday food in general.
Sure.
But yeah, nothing specific necessarily. But yeah, it's this year we didn't go anywhere. We were just staycationing essentially. Didn't
Nice.
do much. Just yeah, but lots of food all the time. I already gained,
And
like I
who's
would
the
say,
cook?
about
Are you contributing, or is your
uh,
wife the head
both.
chef?
Yeah, we both cook from time to time. But yeah, my wife has been cooking these holidays. For some reason, she's in cooking mode, so I didn't
Okay.
want to disturb that too much. But yeah,
As a fellow married man, I know better than to complain when my wife is up to
right.
something in the
Yeah.
kitchen. And I also never celebrated Christmas as a kid growing up.
Hmm.
Religiously, it wasn't the way that my family was raised. But now I
Hmm.
married into a Greek family.
Ah,
And I have to say, credit to my mother in law,
yeah.
whether it's Greek Easter or Greek Christmas,
Mm.
there is not a single family member that leaves anywhere close to hungry. Sometimes we think about calling in, the flatbed truck
Yeah.
to get us home from her holiday table. It's a real interesting experience
Yep.
dining with the Greeks. I'm sure your holidays are also similarly maybe going up the OR in the FPL game, but maybe also going up the LBs on the scale a little
Yeah, I
bit.
have gained a few pounds for sure in the last few days. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about other places that you are doing so strong. So I know we've teased it enough at this point. Let's dive into game week 18. You were
Mhm.
on wildcard, so I'm going to give you the mic first. And maybe when you're going through your wildcard draft and how it went, also just tell the listeners kind of some of the things you changed and some of the big things that have gone so well for you in the start of the season. That sound cool?
Yep, sounds cool. Yeah, I
All
think
right.
I would say, again, I will keep using the word lucky because I believe
Mm,
that whenever you are this high up, you do need like luck, right? So
sure,
at
sure.
least to some extent, right? So
But you are making good decisions. I think,
yeah, I would
you
say,
could say lucky, and
yeah,
I'll
it's a
let you keep
combination.
saying it. But you
Yeah,
are
we
making a
can,
lot of very sound and pragmatic moves,
yeah, let's
as
say it's
opposed
a
to some of us that
combination.
maybe are
Yeah.
taking hits, right?
Yeah, it's a combination of some good moves and at the same time good outcomes, right? Lucky
Yeah,
outcomes.
of course.
So I would say I think the best decision I could make at the beginning of the season was starting with Haaland and Semenyo.
Mhm.
Most of the community didn't start with those two, right? Eventually, most did go there, like by game week 3, game week 4, 5. Everyone had Haaland or Semenyo, right? And Semenyo potentially. But I think starting with those two gave me a head start.
Sure.
And I did not start with Salah. Last first few games didn't go too well because he kept scoring those like late goals, etc. Right, kept getting away with those. So it didn't go like exactly to plan, but at the same time, when others were trying to scramble to get Haaland, either early wild cards or using their FTs and so on to restructure their teams, because no one was ready to get Haaland in, right? Like after what happened last
Sure.
season, it was exact opposite, right? Haaland kept bumming, and then Salah was scoring points all over the place. So that I think gave me a very good head start. So when others were trying to catch up, I was making other potential attacking moves, right? Whether it was getting Gabriel early by game week 5, game week 6 time frame, whether it was to get like the Crystal Palace double defenders when others were still kind of scrambling, right? So I think those are the good decisions, I would say, or good and lucky decisions. Starting with Haaland, starting with Semenyo, getting Gabriel early, getting doubled up on Crystal Palace defense when they were in good form. All that played out. At the same time, I did not necessarily get all those lucky hauls that some of the people got, like the Timber brace, Van Hecke brace, Van de Veen brace, right? So I did not get any of those, right? So that kind of shows that you don't necessarily need to like catch all those like unpredictable hauls all the time to be as high up in the rank. In general, I like to call myself an analytical manager, right? I am subscribed to FPL Review, for example. I don't use
Sure.
Solio much, but I'm very keen observer of how FPL Review evolves in general, like with their thought process, with like in general understanding the game, right? So I would say I do use FPL Review, but at the same time, like some of the like hardcore analytics managers, I don't blindly follow FPL Review, right? Like I don't just always take the top line and just call it a day. uh, I do watch a lot of Premier League game as well, right? So I wouldn't say I'm like a eye test manager or anything, but I'm primarily an analytical manager who then basically uses some of the games, like just watching through your eyes or just analyzing other things external to the game, like how it can impact the upcoming game weeks and so on. If things are changing or if trends are changing, right? Like try and understand whether you can hop on those things that other peoples are not maybe talking about yet as much, right? Or not predicting as much. So that's how I like to play. I do use analytics, but at the same time, I'm not blindly copying FPL Review, uh, whatever they are suggesting, right? Yeah, go ahead.
And before we go any further, to tell the listeners your game week 18 score, because I know you are just coming off using your final wildcard chip, I do
Yes.
want to just ask, when you are using review or the analytical tools, and
Mm-hmm.
again, you are watching the games, and I think that's kind of what's making your rank stand out beyond kind of the masses of analytical managers, is the fact that you're not just kind of hitting accept on that top
Mm-hmm.
suggested recommendation, because honestly, the template hasn't done anywhere close to as well as you have. So I just wanted to ask, are you a manager that, despite what the analytics might be telling you, are you more aggressive or do you tend to be more cautious? If you had to put yourself on that scale.
Yeah, mix of both, I would say. I generally try to make sure that the core of my team is more like cautious picks, right? But at the same time, I try to attack the game at least in one or two positions where maybe I can take chances, right? I think a couple years ago, FPL Trout made a nice video. I can't recall either with Pras or someone else, where he was talking about, he's like one of the core analytics managers, right? He was talking
Yeah,
about taking risks, right? Even if you're an analytics manager, you can take risks, you can analyze risks, right? Even analyzing risk is part of your analysis, right?
sure.
How, if I go with this player instead of go with player B instead of player A, how much risk am I taking? Am I willing to take that risk, right? Against the field. Again, we are all playing this game against millions of managers, right? So there are other people that you are fighting against, right? So if you are going against the crowd, you're taking a risk, right? No matter what, whether you call it
Sure.
effective ownership or whatever it is.
And like you
Uh,
said, doubling up on defense. I think often the analytical
yes.
approach does not like that because they want to spread out the risk tolerance. They want to spread out the statistical anomalies to kind of minimize the variance. But you mentioned that you've done that already a couple times this season.
Yeah. That's one of the things, especially if I see an opportunity where there are like a series of fixtures coming for a team where there's a lot of probabilities for clean sheets. I never mind doubling up, take that chance. Why not?
Okay, awesome. This has been, I think, really good context on how you are where you are. Now let's talk about the wild card, because you hit the
Mm-hmm.
chip, you switched up your team.
Mm-hmm.
I think for good in some ways and maybe less good. I know you took out Cherky, I think is one of the
Yeah.
big regrets that you might have.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the listeners how many points you landed on, and we're going to flash your team up on the screen when we're post production here.
Sure. Yeah, I ended up on 48 points. So as you said, I did take Cherky out, Semenyo out, and Wilson out. The reason that the reason that I wildcarded was basically a bunch of these injuries that started to pop up. I did have 4 free transfers, but because I still had the wildcard, I thought, why take the chance, right? Like Hincapie was injured as well, right? Richards was injured, right? Bruno got injured after I made a couple of early transfers. So it just made more sense to hit the wildcard instead, save the free transfers for future game weeks, right? So at least I could still attack game week 18 with the wildcard, right, with some good picks, and then use the free transfers later. So I think, again, in general sense, in analytical sense, it made a lot of sense. And some of these things you cannot control, right? Cherky all of a sudden becoming Lionel Messi, right? Or like scoring a 13-pointer.
Yeah.
Semenyo scoring like a last 10-minute goal or whatever. Those things you cannot quite control, right? So I'm not too unhappy. I mean, of course, it's in the back of your head that, hey, I missed out on these points. If I did not wildcard, I would get this point. But at the same time, I think overall I wouldn't end up on like too high of delta point wise. Maybe I would finish on like 50 or 51. I didn't exactly calculate, but that's what would be my point. Where I did get help from is basically because I did not have Dubravka. I did go from Dubravka to Ramsdale a few weeks ago. So Dubravka, I started this game week, right, who scored an 11-pointer, and Michael Keane, the legend, he scored a 10-pointer. So those two really helped me out to kind of forget all of those other things that happened. So I think I'm not unhappy necessarily. I think even if I'm short by 2-3 points, it made a lot of sense to save those 4 free transfers that then I can again keep playing aggressively over the next few game weeks, target whatever the good pictures are. My team in general is in very good shape because I, of course, just wildcarded. I have in my defense Van Dijk, who I'm not too happy with, but again, I think I will reconsider after the Leeds fixture. Let's see, we'll give him that game for sure. I have Theo. Newcastle have some very good pictures upcoming. I have Nico O'Reilly. Again, not a pick that I'm very happy with again, but I kind of wanted to save that place to be on par with the field, right? Again, his EO is pretty high right now, 40-50% ish. So I didn't want to take too much chances, right? So if Nico O'Reilly scores a goal, which is very likely, right? Given
it's
how
coming.
high up he's
I
playing.
agree with that. He's in my
Right.
team too.
Yeah, so I didn't want to necessarily take chance with that position either. So he's in place. So defense looks good in general. And as I said, Michael Keane is there. Midfield is the place where I wanted to really attack. And again, some people went to Cunha, some people went to Szoboszlai a few game weeks ago. Some people bought Weirds, right? So, but again, it's a lot of reshuffling, right? Because how things have changed over the last few game weeks. A lot of people will take at least 2-3 game weeks to get to these midfielders, right? I think I would not necessarily say that these are the best midfielders right now, but given the current, like the upcoming fixtures, I would say again Saka was kind of a safety pick. He had
he picks himself right now, right? Especially with the Bruno injury.
Yeah, especially with Bruno injury, Palmer not being option either yet at least, right? So I wanted to keep Saka. That's one reason because he's a good pick in himself, but also he's a very good placeholder for Bruno when he comes back, if he comes back early, especially, right? Or when Palmer becomes an option in a few game weeks, right? I think after game week 22 onwards, Chelsea's fixtures are really, really good. So it made a lot of sense to keep that Saka money in one place instead of trying to make multiple moves to get to Bruno or Palmer, right? So that was the major reason that I wanted to keep Saka and not distribute the money throughout the team. My defense would be a lot better if I spend the money on someone else, right? And anyways, like the Timbers and the Calafiores of the world, they were injured anyways this game week, right? But my defense in general would look better if I distributed that money. But that was the thought behind the Saka move, right? And then, of course, I have Cunha already in place for his good fixtures. I have Foden, again, he's kind of a safety pick. At the same time, he's a very streaky player, right? So I don't think it's a good move to get rid of him right now yet. At least his minutes are good, right? There is no reason for to get rid of him. And then I got Gordon, who is the aggressive pick, right? So essentially, kind of
Yeah.
different from the crowd. That's the one position that I went really aggressive, right? I wanted to at least take a chance with Newcastle's good fixtures. Of course, the Man U fixture didn't play out that well. They're not that great away from home, anyways. But I think the next few gamings are like really good, right? Like the best fixtures that you can think of necessarily. So that's what basically my midfield is like. My front line is like everyone else right now, Haaland and Ekitike. But yeah, that's
And
what my team
Avi, I
looks
just
like.
want to ask, 48 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, steady as she goes, right? It's not too much of a red arrow. It's not really anything. It's a gray dot, as we like to call it,
Yeah,
right? You went down
exactly.
like 30 spots at your rank.
Yeah.
You take that every day of the week. So
Mm-hmm.
I just want to ask, was there a player maybe that did return, whether it's, let's say, Semenyo or Verts, or really anybody that was on your radar? Like maybe you kept Cherky as opposed to Foden. Was there anyone that you kind of have a little bit of hindsight regret
Yeah.
in picking?
Yeah, I think the only regret is not picking Tarkowski as a double up on Everton defense, um,
Okay, interesting.
because that's something that I did.
Instead of Verge?
Yeah, well, either instead of Barge or shift some of the midfield money to the defense to get like
Okay.
instead of the fifth defender where I have the 3.8 million Goodmanson, I could get Tarkovsky there, right? So that's and then I would play 4-4-2 this game. So that was definitely something that I thought about, and Keane and Tarkovsky were in my drafts throughout the week a lot of times. But yeah, eventually I just decided I want to attack in the midfield, which he still can play out better in the next few games if Gordon starts
Yeah,
picking up
still
points.
time for it to play out. Totally
Exactly,
right.
exactly. But yeah, I don't think I can regret about either Cherky or Semenyo. There was no chance that I was picking either of them on my wildcard for sure.
Okay. There you have it. All right, let me quickly go through my team. I did far less good. I ended up on 35 points. When you were talking about Dubravka and Keane, I had to shake my head a little bit to get the rust out, because those two guys alone pretty much outscored my entire team. Not what you want to do when you have 100 million in budget and guys under 8 million, guys 9 million and under are outscoring the rest of your squad. That's not how you want it to go.
Exactly.
35 points for me. Big red arrow. Listen, I'm not where I want to be. I was touching the top 500K. Unlike you, Avi, I started with Salah. I kind of thought it would be a repeat of last season. He gets a contract renewal. Wasn't so much going on. I
Mm-hmm.
was a little late to move off him, and I was not auto captaining Holland to start the season. Pretty much playing catch up from square one, but I'm right around 725K. Again, I don't think it's panic mode. This is a very different FPL season than we've ever
Mm-hmm.
played before. And so I'm just trying to stay focused on making good decisions each and every game week, and hoping that, like I had been since my first wild card in game week 6, kind of string a series of green arrows together to just slowly and steadily improve my rank. So this wasn't a good game week for me, but I feel like the results kind of did not necessarily dictate the process. It was, my moves were sound. I made the right moves. I'm well set up for next game week and game week 20. So, I can't complain on the small margins on the outcome front. Now, with that, it wasn't a great game week for many in the FPL community. I end up on 35 points. It was a 44-point average score across the 11 million teams. Although I should note that my team scored pretty much as far in the shitter as humanly possible. I was like 10.5 million in the game week rank. So there were dead teams and deleted teams that outscored my squad. However, I think it's time. Let's shine some light. Let's put the spotlight on the manager of the game week. We do this every episode. We have a free to enter podcast mini league. It's now closed, but we will be entering cup season pretty soon. And we want to just give a quick congratulations to the manager of the game week. Massive free hit success story to Numero Bruno, led by manager Kostab Pabwardam. Sorry for my horrible pronunciation. Kostab. Amazing team, 86 points. He grabs returns from Shad, Cherky, Verts, Keen, Tarkowski, and Saka. And it's basically almost a flawless free hit draft. However, because we are nitpickers here, we do need to just get out that little sticky booger, which is Dorgu sitting on the bench with a 17-pointer. The scenes in Kostab's home, if Dorgu would have been in that starting lineup, let's say ahead of Foden, we might have seen some naked laps being taken wherever you are in the world, Kostab. So massive congratulations to you. Absolutely smashed it in game week 18. That's how you use those chips. And I feel like while we're here in the festive and congratulatory mood, we did just throw up Kostab's amazing team onto the screen. I do want to just make sure to give some credit and some early season love to the current top 3 managers in our Press Play Premiership, our free to enter mini league. First place, Andre Beeve. He's just a couple points ahead of you, Avi, because you're sitting nice and pretty in the second spot. No reason he can't be first in our hearts and first in the table in a couple game weeks' time. And to round out the top 3, we do have Mo Nakvi. All 3 of these managers are sitting inside the top 3,000 overall. So it is a very competitive mini league, but there's still time to win some prizes either through the cups or through a second half surge. So thank you everyone for being involved. And Avi, best of luck. We want to get you another Chelsea kit. Let's go.
Absolutely.
All right. Are you ready to switch gears? You ready to stare into the not quite broken Magic 8 ball that I'm using over here?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, let's go. Let's fast forward. Let's turn the page. We have midweek deadlines. Game week 19 will start on Tuesday. Perfect time while you're listening to this podcast to set your bus team, make sure your lineup's all set, and maybe any early transfers you might be thinking of. There's no early or late. There's only forgetting in the midweek mania that's to come. Game week kicks off in less than 72 hours. So let's just get right into it. Want to remind the listeners, it is the final game week to lose any chips. It's the final game week of the Premier League in 2025. And it's a weird one. Tuesday and Thursday fixtures. Avi, any transfers you're for sure making going into this one, or are you going to save it for later?
No, I think I'm going to make one move for sure. That was a pre-decided move because I started the wildcard with McAllister.
Okay.
I would be moving from McAllister to Szoboszlai for sure, almost for sure.
Oh, okay. I love that. All right. And let's just dive into the matches that, dictate why that is. So Szoboszlai was out suspended, right? And so now he's coming back in. He should be back to taking penalties, and he should be a firm, nailed starter, despite the fact that we have 3 more game weeks in the next, I believe it's like 8 days. It's absolutely crazy season in the Premier League. So let's do the matches to target for FPL hauls. And let's start with your guy, Szoboszlai. You also have Verge and Ekitike. I have Verge and Ekitike for my team. Let's go no further than Leeds at Liverpool. You think Liverpool finally get that clean sheet, finally get a nice, comfortable win? What do you think?
Clean sheet, I'm not too confident about, to be honest.
Okay.
It just feels like they're not
Verge
very
is the
organized.
worst, man.
Yeah,
He's such a troll.
Yeah, I mean, and it was his fault. Like at least the last few games where Liverpool conceded, at least a couple of times it was his own fault, right? That's what angers me more, right? So that they lost the clean sheet, and even like they didn't overall concede like a whole lot of XG or anything, but they just keep giving away these goals, right? So which I don't like, but it's still a
like
good
brain
game.
farts, right?
Yeah,
a lot
I know,
of brain
right?
farts.
So
momentary loss of focus.
Yeah,
but the agenda against Konate, I have to say, from listening to this podcast, I'm not Virgil's biggest fan, but the way he gets built up as this legend who never makes mistakes, he never concedes goals, he never gets dribbled past. It's just the rest of the idiots around him. I mean, this season it's coming to bear that this guy, he's conceding a lot of space for a lot of open shots, and he's not flawless. So
Mhm.
He's definitely not a great FPL pick right now. That's the thing that hurts most.
Yeah. Again, I think in general, although it's kind of off topic, but I think Virgil to Gabriel is going to be very, very popular in a few weeks now that Gabriel is back. But anyways, I'm not, at least as I said before as well, I'm going to give him the Leeds game. Still a good chance to get clean sheet if you ever want to, right, at home against Leeds. Leeds are
Yeah, totally.
DCL is right now like R9 mode, right? Scoring goals every game. So who knows? But again, I think you just have, if you have him in your team, you give him the chance, right? But uh, again, from an attacking perspective, also Liverpool didn't look that great against Wolves, right? We were expecting them to like go all out, right? First half was okay, second half was really bad. Like their attack was not quite connecting, right? Of course, Szoboszlai was out, Gakpo wasn't there, so it's still not quite chiming right together. So I'm not like too hopeful, but again, because the way I look at the game is not just this game week, as you said, Szoboszlai's minutes are good, their upcoming fixtures are in general okay, other than the Arsenal fixture in game week 21, I think.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it looks good, right? In general, at least over the next 4 or 5 game weeks, it looks good. Uh, Again, this festive time of the year, you want to pick players mostly who have minutes, right? You don't want to play around too much with that. You don't want like 4 or 5 players in your team who are minutes doubts, right? So Szoboszlai is kind of in that arena. So just pick him. He's probably most likely on penalties. He's on some set pieces. So yeah, I'm not expecting too much from this particular game, but I think that's the best move that I can make at the same time as well.
All right. I hear you're not too optimistic. So maybe it's not going to be like a 4-0, like you might have thought in preseason.
Yeah,
But what do you think? Between your three guys, safe to expect maybe a double return? You get two returns in there?
I'd be very happy to
Hopeful?
get two returns. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I like that. That's kind of where I'm leaning. I also don't see this necessarily as a clean sheet, and it just sticks in my craw that I spent all this budget on Verge, and
Yeah,
he's not rewarding me with any points. It's kind of a, I'm almost like, do I start the Sunderland boys,
yeah,
ahead of him? But
yeah.
I'm not that insane just yet. Let's go to the other match that I think
Mhm.
has Hall written all over it. That's Wolves at Manchester United. Now, Manchester United, another team that's kind of, they look great for spells and then they look very average for other long stretches. I mean, Wolves, we know they're far from average. They're in the toilet for a reason. I think Man U has got this one, and I think Cunha, if you are really chasing rank, it's not insane to consider giving him the captaincy. You hate that shout, or you think I'm
No,
off the ledge now?
no, absolutely. It's a very good shout. This game. Okay, it's always hard to go against Haaland, of course. But yeah, as you said,
Mm-hmm.
if you are chasing, I think Cunha is a very very good shout. I know people wouldn't be too eager, especially after watching Manu in the last game without Bruno, without Ahmad, without Mbomo, of course, right? So again, they are another team where with all these absences, it's not maybe quite going to gel that fast. But again, it's Wolves, right? Like, so if you ever want to take a chance against Haaland, I think it's a very, very good game to stick your captaincy on Cunha.
Yeah, and just as two Chelsea fans, a little bit sad what happened to Mason Mount. He's looks like he's injured once again, and
Yeah,
he's a Cobham boy. So despite him being a little bit of a Benedict Arnold, I still have a little bit of love in my heart for him.
absolutely.
Last but not least, I want to highlight Manchester City at Sunderland. Now, I think again, this is another match that on paper in the preseason you would be like, oh man, we're going to triple captain Holland. This is
Hmm.
4-0, easy peasy. Don't even get out of second gear.
Yeah.
Sunderland, kind of one of the shocking stories of the first half of the season. I wouldn't
Hmm.
say they're the number one story anymore with the way Aston Villa are playing,
Hmm.
but Sunderland at the Stadium of Light are not a pushover match. So you think City get the 3 points, or there might be a stumble here?
I mean, I still expect them to get the 3 points, but it won't
Mm-hmm.
be an easy game, right? And I didn't want to believe that Sunderland is a good team until like 10, 11 games into the season either, right? I was very suspicious that maybe they're just getting lucky. But I have seen them over the last few game weeks, and they're a very, very physical team, right? They're technically not the best team, but they're very physical. They fight for like tooths and nails for every second ball, right? So that they would do that to Man City, and which Man City doesn't like a lot. They like to play with space,
Yeah, more
right?
finesse.
Yeah, so they wouldn't like that. So it's not an ideal game, but at the same time, they have lost some players to AFCON, right? A lot of their, like at least 3-4 of their regular starters are now at AFCON. Um, and even the Leeds game today, I think Leeds were the better team for most of the game. At least the second half of the game, they were the better team
Yeah,
against Sunderland.
totally agree.
So I would think that still is a very good game for Man City, and they are smelling blood, right? They are so close to like toppling Arsenal from the top spot, and Pep always does that, right? Anytime, like especially during the festive time, they just like keep winning matches, right? So I think they will get the win. They will get the 3 points. It won't be a 4-0, 5-0, but I still expect Man City to score 2 goals at least. And then if City are scoring 2 goals, I generally expect Haaland to be involved. So very likely I'm still going to go with Haaland. I think it's still kind of like an
Okay.
80-20 between Haaland and Cunha, but I don't mind just sticking with Haaland either.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the AFCON situation, because this is probably going to be one of the most stark situations when you look at the bench. Because, like you said, Sunderland, I think they have 8 players that are off serving for international duty for their teams, and City barely have any. And definitely they have a much deeper squad. So, considering the extra rest City have, even the fact that they're on the road, I think they will be closer to the green zone when it comes to an energy perspective than the Sunderland players will. So that's never a good place to be when you're going against St. Pep at this time of the year. I feel like every season, whether they sputter early, at some point as the calendar turns over, City just go on a kind of march where they just get 3 points, 3 points. They play horrible, they get 3 points. They play amazing, they smash the team. So we're just firmly in that point of the season right now when it comes to City. So I agree with you. I think Haaland, he's good in every game week, but he could come really good in this one.
Yep.
Any other matches you think are looking like unbalanced cupcake versus Goliath kind of thing?
No, I don't think there is any like that, but I do like the West Ham versus Brighton game for goals in general. I think maybe even on both sides. I know Brighton is kind of unpredictable, but West Ham is in a very bad place right now as well, right? So I do expect goals from Brighton if they can do their own stuff. So that, and West Ham can score goals as well, because Brighton defense also tends to falter at times, right? Just fall apart at times. Chelsea, Bournemouth, and Newcastle, Burnley. Newcastle, Burnley is something that we did not talk about, right? Newcastle is
let's talk
generally,
about that
yeah, Newcastle is not that great away from home, at least this season. And even in the last 3-4 seasons under Eddie Howe, they have never been that great away from home. But again, it's Burnley, right? So I again expect Newcastle to go all out for it. If ever you are going to win a match away from home, right? This is the game, right?
It's got to be one of these ones.
So yeah, they have to absolutely go all out for this game. So I think this is a good fixture for clean sheets and for attacking returns from Newcastle. I think Gordon's minutes are better now that Elanga is injured. I don't know how long he's injured
Good
for.
Shout.
At least his minutes are much better than it was before over the last few game weeks, because he kept getting subbed off at like 60th, 70th minute, right? Last game we saw that he played the whole 90 minutes because they just don't have all those other people to come in. Barnes is there, but I don't think Eddie Howe likes Barnes as a starter, right? He's the super sub kind of guy, right? At 70th, 80th minute he comes in. So I think Gordon's minutes are going to be good, and I think given that he's on penalties, I think he's a very, very good FPL asset. A lot of people are not going there because of the X minutes concerns. But I think if you look past that, I think he's a very, very good pick, not just for this game, but again, for the next few as well, where their pictures are good. Oltemade, I know a few people already have Oltemade, or if you already have a structure with like 4-3-3 where you want to move on from Thiago. I don't like that structure personally, but if you have that structure already, if you want to go to a Woltemade, that's probably not the worst route. But again, Wisa is back, right? So his minutes are going to be dented a
Yeah,
little bit.
minutes concerned.
Um,
I think Wissa will start one of these games for what
yeah,
it's
right.
worth.
Yeah. So for sure, I think I do see him starting as well. So I think if you're talking about a Newcastle attacker, yeah, I think right now it has to be Gordon. I don't like Bruno Guimaraes as a FPL asset. He got some very lucky returns on the Olympico goal from the corner.
Yeah, probably
That's
not going to
not,
do that
yeah, that's
more
not going
time
to
in the
happen
Premier League.
again, ever again, most likely. But yeah, so I don't like him as a pick. Defense, you have some good picks, right? Again, they have some defensive injuries. But again, Eddie Howe, as we know, he's a pragmatic manager, right? So he likes, as a manager, he likes to keep clean sheets. So basically, I think Hall was very, very good against Manchester United. I did not see a whole lot of him playing over the season, but in the Man U game, he was very attacking. He could have scored a couple of goals.
Yeah, he
Theo,
almost had two.
yeah, Theo is a very good safe pick, I think. Others are not as much kind of rotating around. They don't even have a right back right now, right? Luis Miley is playing right back for them. So I think Theo and Hall are good picks. Gordon is a good pick, not just again for game week 19, for the next few games. So if you have all the other things in place, I think Newcastle is a very good place to attack the game right now.
All right, I like it. Let's go to the best matches in real life. You already touched on one of them, which was, I think you mentioned Everton at Forest. Did you say that one?
No.
No, you said Brighton at West Ham. I
Yeah.
should just mention, because one of our broad listeners is FPL Fella. He's a diehard Hammer supporter.
Yeah.
It's a unique season right now for certain of these London teams because
Mm.
specifically Spurs and West Ham are actually far worse at home than they are on the road.
Mm.
So I could see there being like an in-game protest with this Brighton at West Ham game, just because there's so much frustration
Yeah.
for the paying season ticket holders about the performances they're getting when they're supposed to be at their favored home ground. So
Yeah.
that's just one I wanted to double click on.
Mhm.
Best matches in real life, there's the Dice Derby. I always think these matches are fun when it happens so close to a dismissal. So Everton, of course, they're gone good since Moyes came in, but they were ruled with an iron Dice beer fist for many years over there, and they're traveling to his new home wearing a completely rival color of red for Nottingham Forest. Both teams kind of trending in kind of spotty directions, 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of vibe right now this season. You think double Everton defense are going to do it again, or you feel okay just having the legend himself, cheapy Michael Keane?
Yeah, away from home, I'm not as like expecting them to really keep a clean sheet. Forest are kind of getting there as well, right? As a team, starting to gel together a little bit. So yeah, I don't think I'm too confident about a clean sheet. So definitely not a game to double up on Everton defense. But again, I mean,
You considering starting Keane still at least?
no, not really. So I'm starting Virgil, O'Reilly, and Theo because I had
Okay.
Theo on the bench. So I think I'm going to start him over Keane. But again, I think if you have no other options, it's perfectly fine to start Keane and Tarkowski. Both of them are great for DEFCONs, right? They get DEFCONs pretty much every game, right? That's how Everton play, right? So they are always going to get DEFCONs. So yeah, I mean, even if Forest scores, are they going to score 2, 3, 4 goals? No, right? They're going to
Nah,
score
I don't think
2
so
goals.
either.
So I think their floor is like 3 points, right? Both Keane and Tarkowski. So not the worst starters, to be honest. But yeah, this is kind of one of those games very hard to call. I think given that Everton doesn't have all their attackers either injured or gone to AFCON, etc. as well, right? So if Everton had all their players at hand, I would say it's a game that Everton could potentially win. But yeah, it sounds more
Agreed.
like a 1-1 draw kind of game. Yeah.
I was going to say, this has 1-1. It's like both teams score in the first half, and then you could just take a nap in the second half. There's going to be a lot of tactical fouls and not necessarily a popcorn worthy match. There are 2 London New Year's Day derbies. I think this is a little bit of a cool scheduling tweak. We have Spurs at Brentford. Brentford have just been absolute FPL gold the last couple game weeks. I believe Lewis Potter was the game week highest scorer in game week 17. And then looking across the wing formation, you got Shad gets 20 points, a perfect hat trick. He was the game week's high scorer this game week. Maybe it's Thiago as the guy in this match against Spurs to kind of round out a good 2025. I'm one of the foolish managers and kind of talking heads. I thought Brentford for sure were going to be in a relegation battle. They've looked pretty stable. They're impressive.
Yeah, I agree. They have surprised all of us. I think after Thomas Frank left, after Mbomo left, Wissa left, right? Like basically three of their main assets left the club, right? But they kept going. They didn't even like buy a lot of new players either, right? So, but somehow they have managed to do really, really good. I think as a club, they are a very analytical club, right? A lot of their players, they use analytics to actually transfer players in. So I think that's somehow playing out. They just have these players in places. So even your first team player leaves, there is another guy coming in who still kind of does the same things, right? Damsgaard is a very good player. He has been kind of, he's not a good FPL asset, but as a player, he's really, really good. So he kind of is the guy who really runs the team, right, on the field. So I think Brentford are a good team, but again, Spurs were decent today. Thomas Frank again is struggling to kind of get all the players that he wants. Either they're like again red carded, AFCON injuries, etc., etc. So he almost never has like his first choice 11 at his hand. But again, one of those teams who are starting to kind of gel at least to some extent.
I feel a little bad for Thomas Frank. It's that'll be the only good thing I say about Spurs. He's been dealt a tough hand so far this season.
Yeah.
Last but not least, it would be almost criminal if we went all this time and we didn't mention the heavyweight battle that's going to be happening in game week 19. That is Aston Villa traveling to the Emirates to play against Arsenal. Now, maybe I'm overstepping where we are right now in the season and the storylines that are at play. But I think it's safe to say we have a 3-team title race. Right now, it's Arsenal first, Man City right on their heels, and then Aston Villa putting together a record stretch never before accomplished in their club's history. They have won 11 straight Premier League matches, and this club has been around for 111 years. I mean, my grandparents' parents weren't alive yet. So that just shows you how insane of a stretch Unai Emery is on right now with the Villains. They've beaten Arsenal already in a last-minute shocking display. I don't know. I think Arsenal and Arteta, they figure it out. I think they get at least 1 point. I'm almost to the point where I think Arsenal are going to be the ones that put the sword to this kind of 11-win streak that Villa have going on. Maybe like 2-1. Kind of a very tight tactical contest. How are you seeing this one?
Yeah, I mean, Villa are kind of one of those teams outside maybe Man City that you don't want to play against right now, right? Like they're in the form of their lives. Again, performance-wise, you don't always see it, but they have these players, right? Moment players, right? Rogers and Watkins. They just do this, right? They have done this for years, right? So again, as I said in the beginning, I'm an analytics manager, so I do tend to think that their XG over performance is going to come to an end at some point of the season. But at the same time, like right now, right at this moment, they are just enjoying lives, right? So I think they will give Arsenal a very, very tough game like they did a few weeks ago, right? So I won't be surprised if Arsenal lose points in this game, to be honest.
Oh, wow. You're going the other way. I love it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Arsenal. Not sorry. I will say, though, it's interesting because at least from a managerial perspective, there are a lot of kind of homecomings in game week 19. And of course, Arsenal, they haven't really had a wobble this season. And I think Aston Villa are just so hot right now. They're kind of like, the new kid on the block. And it's just really going to come down to like small margins, like you said. I don't think there's so much between these two teams. It'll be who's fit and who's ready to go kind of into a really intense 90-minute battle. And, maybe Villa will keep getting away with the 0.01 XG goals that they have been getting away with the last couple game weeks. I definitely don't think there's a clean sheet on either side. Do you predict there's going to be a clean sheet here?
Very unlikely.
Yeah, I was shocked. I think the bookies have Arsenal as like almost a 48% likelihood of a clean sheet.
Yeah, it's
I
just
could not be
yeah.
further on the other side of that.
Yeah, I think so. Just for this game, I mean, of course, bookies are looking at the underlyings to some extent as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Arsenal at home are just a very good defense, right? But at the same time, I think
Sure.
they are not in the best position as well, right? I think Timber was injured last game. Calafiori was out. Gabriel just
Yeah,
came back
sick.
from a long injury. So I don't know what their first four
And
defenders are even
Hincapi
going to be,
was
right?
flagged. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
like they're dealing with some bumps and bruises right now. So
yeah.
kind of feels like Villa are the more in form and in fitness team coming into this match.
Yeah, I mean
Kind of you
that's
agree?
I think Emery is going to absolutely try and win this game. In general, like in any other season or in any other time of the season, I think Emery would be happy with a draw, right? That kind in this kind of game,
Yeah.
especially since they're going to Arsenal. But I think this particular time, given that they are in the fight, right, for the trophy, I think Emery would absolutely want to win this game. I think they are going to give that fight to Arsenal.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. I think consensus is that is the one match that if you need to like tell your family and friends to, go for a walk, you want it to be sometime during that Aston Villa Arsenal match. At least
Mhm.
that's how I'm planning it with my family. So I won't
Okay.
make you be the bad guy on kind of a global recording. Let's go to our next segment. We like to engage our listeners, so we regularly call for contributions from the hashtag FPL community in our little mailbag segment. So, Avi, this is really your time to shine. No one wants to hear what Bucks, the big idiot, ranked 700,000 in the world, thinks. So I'm just going to put these on a plate for you, and you give us your best perspective. Sound cool?
Sure.
All right. So we got at the Run CMC on social. Corey's asking, with DCL so hot right now, is he worth using a free transfer to bring in and shift into either a 3-4-3 or a 4-3-3 formation, kind of pairing with Holland and Ekitike? Do you like DCL as a potential template breaker?
I mean, I like him as if you are, as I said before as well, I don't necessarily like the 4-3-3 structure, but because DCL is so cheap, you can still invest in other places and just kind of rotate him when he has bad fixtures. Play 4-3-3 in some games, play like 5-3-2 or whatever, like other formations in other games, wherever it fits, right? But I don't necessarily think that it's a good or best use of the free transfer. As I said, like if you really want to use your free transfer, you should either target Newcastle or Manchester United. They are the ones that have very good fixtures upcoming, right? Maybe Liverpool. A lot of people don't have those players, right? I mean, again, I would never buy DCL despite him scoring 8 goals in 7 games or whatever. Yeah, it's just not one for me. I don't think it's a very good use of free transfers right now.
So you think that the song is coming to a close? He's on a legendary run. He's basically like prime DCL from like
Oh
6 years ago. Right now, he has, I believe it's 8 goals, like you said, in 7 matches, or 7 goals in 6 matches.
Mhm.
I'm just going to read to you his stat line since game week 13, and
Yeah.
he's played some good teams. He
Mhm.
has 7 points, 9 points, 6 points, 9 points, 12 points, and then did the business again today with another 9 points.
I know.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like he's going against the sisters of the poor, as I like to say. He's scored against Chelsea, he's scored against Liverpool, against Manchester City, and against Crystal Palace. Those are kind of 4 of, the 8 best defense in the
Yep.
league. So I can see the virtue, but I also agree with you. I think kind of you missed it. You missed the boat with him. If you don't have him already, kind of you can't chase yesterday's points. So
Exactly.
I think there will be the next DCL will be another player, probably not on Leeds. We agree there?
I agree.
Yeah, I think to your point, you mentioned Gordon. Like I'd much rather own Gordon than I would DCL right now if I'm using a free transfer.
Yep.
All right, next up, we got at Barrister _FPL, Jeremy. He's another one in the hashtag FPL USA community. Shout out to Jeremy. I was with him actually at the World Cup live schedule and draw release. So that was pretty cool to be together with him. He's asking about Kevin Schad. I think specifically about his overperformance. Of course, he is scoring from low XG. So is Morgan Rogers. Does it matter at his price? Do you think it's worth making a transfer to bring in Shad? Or again, are we chasing yesterday's points?
Yeah, again, kind of the same thing. You're chasing points. He's not going to score another hat trick for the rest of the season, at least. He's a good
But he is
pick.
nailed with the AFCON
Yeah,
departures.
exactly.
I kind of
That's what I
do
was going
like
to
his
say.
upside there.
Yeah, I mean, his minutes are like absolutely secure, right? He's going to play 90 every game, pretty much. So from that perspective, he's a decent pick, very, very good pick. I did think about him a little bit when I was wildcarding, very little, right? I wouldn't say, I wouldn't claim that I was going to have him on my wildcard, but he was, again, on review, he was basically almost always on the top line if you are making some adjustments, etc. So review kind of predicted somehow, right? I don't know how they do it, but they kind of was hot, very hot on Shada. But again, I don't think I'm going to go there using my transfers. Again, I'm always a fixture over form kind of manager, right? So if I were you, um, I would rather again invest, look at the upcoming fixture, see where the potential holes could be. Like for example, Bournemouth was a good fixture to target because Bournemouth are really bad away from home, right? Throughout the season, they are just two different teams at home and away from home, right? So Bournemouth was actually a good game to target. And again, Brentford's fixtures are not the worst, right? In general, over a long period of time, at least the next 5, 6, 7 games, they're okay, decent kind of fixtures. But at the same time, they're not like super duper haul kind of fixtures either, right? So again, not one for me, but if you want to go there, I understand why, because again, because of the safety of minutes, right? For example, right, if you are going Shada over Gordon, is it a bad pick? No, not necessarily, right? You know, with Shada, you have the minute security that Gordon doesn't 100% have, right? So I don't necessarily mind it. He's a okay pick, not the best pick.
Would you have him? Because I'm referencing your wild card now, so I just want to ask because there were a couple other names that we mentioned. So, you said Gordon, you'd pick Gordon over him. It sounds like you'd clearly pick Szoboszlai over Shot as well. Going a little bit down the ranking, how about Harry Wilson? You'd rather have Harry Wilson or Shad?
Shada. Of course, different price points, but yeah, Shada.
I know, very different. And then I'm gonna split the baby here. How about Cherky? Because Cherky's a little bit closer to Shad.
Shada, because again, Cherky's minutes I don't think are that good. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Cherky is benched in this game, in Game Week 19. I wouldn't be at all surprised.
That's what I wanted to get to. Okay, so it sounds like, all things being equal, you feel like Shad he's probably a top 8 midfield pick right now with his price and his upside, but he's not top 5. And I tend to agree with you. I just wanted to kind of pinpoint where you were feeling. Okay, it's kind of more about the fixtures, and there's other guys with better upside, despite Shad, banging in goals and being in good position for a team that is generating good XG.
Right.
So we're on the same page there. Okay, I think that was a really comprehensive answer for you, Jeremy. So hopefully this gets to you before you make any free transfers. Let's keep it going. My Cayman fan on social. This is Matt. He's asking point of view on if it's worth prioritizing a transfer in this game week for Gabriel, or should we hold maybe 1 or 2 more game weeks for the Arsenal defender?
Hold, I think. Again, specifically for Gabriel, because he's coming back from a pretty long injury, right? And we don't even know like exactly what happened or what his recovery was. Would he start? Possibly, yes. Given the other injuries, so Arteta will probably have to start him. But he can get subbed, or he can get injured again, whatever, right? I never like players when they are just coming back from an injury in general. That's my ideology, at least in FPL also, right?
That's your red flag.
Yeah, like I would rather wait, right? And again, as we discussed, there are other defenders that you can attack or target for the time being, whether it's Man City, Newcastle, Everton, right? Like there are other players that you can target. So I am for sure it's not a priority target. I am eyeing him up, as I said, maybe like after maybe the Liverpool game, Game Week 22 or something. By the time we'll have more information as well, so get these festive fixtures out of the way, more back to regular. So that's where I would be more comfortable. Other Arsenal defenders other than Gabriel, same thing, right? Do we know like how bad Timber's injuries, how bad Calafiori's injuries? Is Hincapi fit to play like every 3 days? We don't know, right? So I don't think any of the even Saliba, right? Like he also got back from an injury
He
like
got injured also, yeah.
a couple weeks ago. So I think it's not necessary to go for any of them, and their fixtures are also not the best over the next few games. I think what they have Bournemouth, Liverpool, who else? But again, I mean, it's not the best.
Yeah, they
Best of the
Villa,
fixtures,
Bournemouth, Liverpool.
right? So
And
I don't think you need to go there right away. No.
so of course you wild carded, so you don't have, Arsenal defense right now. For those of us like me who have double Arsenal defense, sounds like, if I'm hearing you correctly, probably it's more of a time to sell than it is to buy. You vote for that?
I think so. I mean, again, I don't know how much we're going to hear from Arteta, or how forthcoming he's going to be about Timber or Calafiori's injuries specifically. Both of them are pretty popular, right? Timber is very highly owned. I think you have Timber.
Yeah, very highly owned.
And
I have
Calafiori.
Hincapi.
You
I'm
have
kind of
Hincapi.
thinking that I might get very lucky with kind of the injuries and the sickness with I think it might be like a Frankenstein defense where they have to play Saliba, Gabriel, and Hincapi. And then it's like, well, that's better for Hincapi because he's more fit than Gabriel. So he'll probably get DEFCON and have a better chance of a clean sheet.
Yeah, I think if you have Hincapi, I think you can lock out with him for the next couple of weeks if everything plays out.
Yeah, just kind of keep him in your lineup and pray. That's what I'm doing.
Very, very likely he's going to start left back in the Villa game for sure. Given that Calafiori is out and given that Arteta doesn't trust Luis Kelly as much yet. So it's very likely if Gabriel is fit to play left center back, it's pretty sure that Hincapi is going to start at left back.
Okay, I like that. That makes me feel a little bit hot and bothered inside. I like that. Ooh. All right, let's go to my co-host. He had the dream season that you are on right now last season, and that's FPL USA. Brian. Brian's asking, he's visiting his parents, which is why he's missing in action. He still sends his love. He's in your part of the country right now. He's back home in Wisconsin, not too far away from the great glove state of Michigan. And he wants to know about kind of your best budget defender picks. Now, I'm just going to skip ahead because one of the ones he asked is Delo, and I know you don't have him, but you have my favorite budget pick, which is Keane in place. Keane is 4.7 million. He specifically wants your top three under 4.8 million. So I did a little bit of the homework for you if you want to shout out any of the guys that I listed, but I'm going to leave it to you. Blank slate, you have 4.8 million. Who's kind of your favorite defenders that you're targeting right now?
Keane, for sure, would be the top. I think Sunderland defenders still have to be there. Lard got injured, of course, so he's not a pick anymore. Otherwise, I would have said his name. I think Alderete is a very safe pick. He tends to get some chances up front. He's good for DEFCONs.
He looked great today. Oh my God.
Still
he almost had a goal.
Still only 4 million, right? So I think Alderete as your fifth defender, not as a fourth defender, but as your fifth defender, I think he is probably the best pick in the game. I think Rodon also got injured today, so he's not there. Alderete by far is the best budget pick other than Keane. Who else? I cannot think of anyone. Since you have done some homework,
those two are good. I shouted out maybe like a Lewis Potter. Again, he's playing out of position, so you're paying like 4.5 or 4.8, excuse me. So it doesn't leave you any flexibility, but you are getting a winger for a defender price.
Yeah.
And then, maybe you have Verbruggen in goal for Brighton. So, Van Heck has been a player that's shown Hall potential. He's 4.5 million. And then VDV from Spurs, also 4.5 million. And then it's kind of like, do you trust the Manchester United defense or do you trust Sunderland defense? For me, I trust Sunderland defense more. I'm aligned with you on that one.
Yeah, I think Dalot or Dorgu, both of them are okay picks. Again, of course, they just hauled in the last game. Doesn't mean that they'll keep hauling. But I think they're okay picks until all the Afcon players come back, right? So Dorgo specifically looked very dangerous, right? He was basically playing right wing as well, kind of out of position. So I don't mind
Yeah,
that.
4.1 million.
Yeah,
He's like incredible value.
yeah. So if you have like extra free transfers, if you want to target the next few, I don't necessarily mind one of those two guys. I think they are okay shouts. I completely forgot about the menu defenders, but yeah, I think they are very, very good cheap shouts for the next few.
Would you go beyond Delo or Dorgu? You wouldn't like overcomplicate and get like Heaven or yeah.
No, probably not. If you want a menu defender, go for one of those two guys, Delort or
Yeah, I agree. The wing back, the upside, potentially playing wing.
yeah.
All right. That rounds it out. Thank you to our listeners. Thank you to the hashtag FPL community and hashtag FPL USA for some of these great questions. Always good to have someone who actually knows what they're talking about on to help answer them, as opposed to the regular gang of morons that we have running this podcast. Without further ado, I know Avi has a family to get back to, as do I. My baby is awake, torturing my wife in the background right now. Let's go to our final segment. That is the transfer plans and captaincy shouts. Now, I was not the best host here because I already teased you up and had you spill the beans on who your planned free transfer was. Just again, tell the listeners what your plan is for your 4 free transfers and for captaincy.
Yeah, so this game week I'm going to just make one transfer unless something else crops up, of course. My pre-decided move to go from McAllister to Szoboszlai. So that's my potentially going to be my only move. Captaincy is on Haaland right now, and as I said before, I'm kind of 80-20 on Haaland versus Cunha. We'll see how it evolves over the next day or so. If I want to go Cunha, I don't think he's the worst shout, but Haaland is just the, I don't know how to say it. Like, it's just a secure pick, right? You know what he delivers.
Yeah.
So I don't mind going there.
He gets minutes. He has so many routes to goals, and he's like the kind of the iRobot vacuum cleaner. You know, no matter where it's hiding, it's gonna get into that crevice and get it hoovered into the goal.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. And if you had to make another free transfer, or if you decide to make a free transfer, you have anyone in mind that would be kind of like near you clicking the confirm button?
Maybe.
I'm putting you on the spot here. I apologize.
No. You were okay. I think if I were, again, as I said before, like I really liked Tarko when I was wildcarding anyways. This is probably not the best entry point, but I was so mad at Virgil. I kind of thought that I would just sell him.
Me and you
no
both.
matter what. But yeah, most likely not going to do that. But if I were, I would probably make that move. Just go for Tarkovsky. Just lock him in.
Is that a move you're planning maybe for game week 20, or is that too far ahead to make that call?
We'll see how Liverpool does in the Leeds game, and then decide after that. If again, if Virgil looks bad, if Liverpool looks bad, I might just hit the button.
Yeah, rip the Band-Aid.
Yeah.
It's nice when you have those extra free transfers. I wish I could be a little bit more like you and have some good discipline. Albeit that is not how I came out, and that's not how I will change my ways now that I'm in my mid-30s. I'm going to roll my free transfer. As much as I am itching to make some changes after 35 points and a big red arrow, kind of this is not the best entry point for a lot of the players that are on my watch list.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the small margins that FPL can often be cruel. When you have a bad game week, you feel like you want to really do something crazy.
Right.
And oftentimes doing nothing is also doing something. And this is the kind of situation I'm in with my team this game week. So nothing is the move. And I'm just going to captain Haaland. Keep it simple. Hope that the Boxing Day rewards and gifts that I was due this past game week come a little bit late, thanks to, you know, the holiday and the inclement weather that we've received here. And, you know, I'll just get a green arrow in game week 19. Easy peasy.
Sounds good.
So I think that's a podcast. Avi, anything else that you're really hoping for before the New Year's? It wouldn't be too greedy of us to ask for Chelsea comfortable win, would it be?
No. Hope we can get that
come
one.
on. Let's get a Chelsea result.
Absolutely.
Finally, let's get back in the winning ways. With that, I do want to just really thank you for taking time. This has been a long episode, but a really good one. I've had a lot of fun. Hopefully you have too.
Absolutely.
And hopefully our listeners really enjoy listening to Avi. Again, you can find him at FPL_Conte on social. He's having a remarkable start to the season, and it hasn't just been a blip of luck. It's continued through the first 18 game weeks. He's inside the top 1,500 OR. I think the official rank is like 1.3, 1,300
or
something
like that. Yeah.
Who's counting? Who's rounding? I'm not. You are the best manager comfortably that we've had on the podcast this season. And I just want to give you a second to plug anything going on with you offline, online, FPL, or otherwise.
No, not much. Of course, we are not doing FPL under the radar as much. We keep talking about bringing it.
Man.
We keep talking about bringing it back. Maybe we'll do that. Wrangler and ZD has been bugging me, saying that, hey, you are having a good season. Why not use that to bring back radar? So maybe. So look forward to that. Maybe it'll come back to life.
Wow, they're trying to use you. What kind of friends are these? Golly.
I know, right?
That's like Black Wolf and Brian every time it comes for an episode rundown. They're like, Bucks, you put your kids to bed, get the work in.
Yeah.
It's so easy when it's someone else, right?
Yep.
All right, awesome. Avi, really great seeing you. Cheers for making time for us, and best of luck in game week 19 and for the rest of the season. Listen, I might be a little bit biased. I'm biased. I'll admit it. But I want another American to win, and you're a friend of the program, so why not it be you to take home the title? Maybe we'll get together for the World Cup, and then hopefully we'll get together to see Chelsea lift some trophies alongside you lifting the FPL trophy.
Absolutely.
That sounds good to me.
I'll give it a shot. Yeah.
All right. Love you. Thank you so much, Avi. This has been great. Thank you to our listeners. We will be back with a game week 20 preview in like 15 minutes. So thanks for tuning in. Subscribe, follow us on social at FPLUSA Press Play. I'm Bucks. That's FPL_Conte. And it's been a great episode. Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.